Hey Tom, what's going on, man? So I got these. Oh, geez, this was an Amazon purchase. It was okay. It came in a set of. I think I have it. They're not the greatest. It's powered wise. It was pretty cheap. It came with two or three lapel mics, a bunch of extensions, splitters, pretty much everything you would need to, essentially do an interview with somebody. Um, Yeah, it's perfectly okay. So take that for what you think. But the price was right, and that's the most important thing. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's one of those things that you can really go down a rabbit hole when it comes to mics, and you're always going to get different, mic snobs that say, "Hey, this is better" or whatnot. But I mean, I'm happy with them. The biggest thing that I've noticed is if you watch some of my videos when I have weird audio transitions or weird backgrounds, it's more the environment I'm in. Sometimes I'll do voiceovers here. Sometimes I'll do them elsewhere in the house. So I just need to be more consistent in where I'm doing those voiceovers. But other than that, in a perfect environment, um, these mics feel pretty good. Hey man, thanks for joining. How's your CRT collection going down there? I'm looking forward to seeing you broadcast or Twitter, or just get something to share your experience and knowledge with everybody. So we have a very interesting update with this CRT kit. So one of my followers on Reddit, we have been talking back and forth for a year on this kit. So when the original video came out, he bought a kit, and he's been building it and everything. He did two videos on showing. Okay, cool, cool, man. I look forward to it. Hey, send me a link in email. I'd be happy to see that. So one of my followers, he's over in Europe. He built one of these, and he had very similar issues. So that was reassuring, right? It was nice to have somebody else build this and have the exact same problems as me, right? Uh, he messaged me today, and he replaced the transistors with better ones, and it worked. I got to read over all of his notes and everything, but he replaced a couple capacitors because some of the original capacitors did explode. So he replaced those. He replaced the transistors, and it's working, right? He says it looks perfect. So that's very promising, and it almost makes me think that the issue was more a transistor than capacitors, but kind of like what I'm doing with this board is he's replaced so much that it's like, well, what was really the issue, you know? So I need to follow up with him more, but it's very very promising, very promising. And of course, I adjusted some OBS settings, and I forget what I did, and now I have a really horrible echo. I hear it. I don't think you hear it. I think it's only me. we're not gonna mess. We're not gonna mess too much with it right now. But as far as this board, I got all the capacitors on, so we have all the new capacitors. I do have some new transistors somewhere around here. But we're getting there, right? Slower than what I wanted, but we're getting there. But it's interesting. That follower, who I still gotta reach out and make sure I can use his name if he's comfortable with that, but he did a lot of testing, and this was a really good experience for him because he really didn't use, before this project, he never had an oscilloscope. He never used an oscilloscope, so now he got this equipment and he started practicing with it. He has a better understanding of how they work, so that's awesome. And that's, in my opinion, really kind of the point of this kit in its purest form, was to get people to be comfortable, be comfortable using test equipment and be comfortable soldering, assembling things, and troubleshooting. So, all a win, all a win. I think overall he feels a lot more comfortable using equipment and testing things than before. So that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And now we're kind of getting some of the boring parts of the kit, just putting big amounts of solder on the ground, but it's also the part that keeps these switches onto the board. So nothing too exciting, but also incredibly important. And I was reminded of another beef I have with this kit. So each of the knobs on here, potentiometers, whatever you want to call them, they have different values, right? So this one's 100K, this one's 20K. It's not very clear on the board, and it's even less clear on the component itself. So when I was assembling the first one, especially for brightness and V-hold, it was just all over the place, right? It wasn't really consistent, or at least wasn't operating the way I thought it would be. And it turned out they're different values. V-hold's 33K and brightness is 2K, and I swapped those. So, imagine if you just swapped a resistor of those two values in a circuit, and obviously you're going to get some really crazy results. So I would prefer that, if this kit was made for a more general audience, those would be a little more obvious. So that's what you get when you get kits like this. And just some better planning with this. Like as you go through and you solder a lot of these components, like these are shorted. And it's mostly because there's just so little room. I want to get the meter and check that out. So I got a new video coming out tomorrow if you're interested. A while ago, I did a video on a PS3 repair, and tomorrow is the long-awaited part 2 for that. So it'll be interested to see that and kind of some of the lessons learned with that. Okay. Well, looks like we fixed that short, so that's promising. It's very close to being completed. Very, very close. Um, Give me 1 second here and I'll kind of show you where we're at. So, put this over here. So really, what I need to do is finish putting on some of the inputs, the outputs, the adjustment knobs, um, the RF modulator, which I don't need, but I'm going to put it on anyway, right? And there's a couple other adjustment components on here. And then the last part is actually the AC to DC part of the board, although I'm not really going to use it because I'm only going to power this off DC because it is Chinese, so it's made for 240. I do have 240 available, so I could hook this up as it's intended, but I'm just going to use it on my benchtop power supply because that's the easiest thing for me to do. So yeah, we are, Jose, we're very close. We're very close, man. Um, but it's just one of those things that, life life gets in the way and I don't get as much done as what I want to.